All right, guys. Thanks for stopping back in. This video, I am not going to be as as excited to make this video, to say the least. I'm going to get a little heated. I'm already going to give a forewarning. I'm going to rant. I might get a little bit loud. All right, but you know, Kedrick, your team won, so you go ahead. You can start us off.
Well, I'm really wishing we kind of did that bet that we were talking about, but I said no. I said no, so that's on me. All right, so we're gonna start off a little bit talking about the game. I mean, most of you guys watched it, but drove me nuts. I don't know about you, but that first 4 minutes, I wasn't even able to watch the game because we were stuck on Michigan, Nebraska. I get it was a good game, but no one needs to stick around for the post game interview there. You can always find that online. So that was a tad bit annoying that we got to miss that first 4 minutes. Um,
Definitely frustrating. I know I texted you. I was like, I haven't even seen what happened, and it was already like 7-8 or something like that. And I'm like, I was stuck on Dusty May's face. I have no
yeah,
idea, and we're 4 minutes in.
yeah, that was quite annoying. And I'm only gonna throw one more thing in there about the broadcasting or whatever. I don't know what was up with scoreboard or whatever it was. It was funky. Like of all things, you're gonna choose that scoreboard for the Indiana Purdue game, but that's a little nitpicky. And another thing about the broadcasting is actually I don't know. I know Robbie Hummel and I don't know who the other guy was, but
It's like
he,
I think his name's like John Fanta or something
I
like
don't know,
that.
whoever it was, I get that maybe Robbie Hummel went to Purdue. I don't know where the other guy went, but holy crap, were they biased toward Purdue? The entire game, Purdue hits a shot, and it was like you would have thought they hit a game winner. And then IU comes down the court and hits a shot, and they're like, oh, they get the crowd going a little bit again. Like it was just, oh, they need new broadcasting for the next game because I was about to lose my mind just in the broadcasting alone. And that wasn't even the game. But that's besides the point. All right, so we're gonna get into a little bit of the IU stats and the outlook a little bit for what the rest of the season holds. This was a good get back game. I mean, we had a great game, great showing against Rutgers as we had shown in the preview, but this was much needed for the Hoosiers. I mentioned the quad one wins, how we were 0-6 in quad one games. This is a huge boost on the resume. Getting that first quad one win, especially against the top 15 team in Purdue. I believe you guys are ranked 12th, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
not
Okay,
now.
so yeah, not now, but yeah, that was a good quad one win for the Hoosiers, especially defending Assembly Hall a little bit. Now boosting us to, I think, 4-1 in the last 5 games at Assembly Hall, which is pretty impressive. I know it's
It
a
is.
rivalry game, but whenever IU's been extremely outmatched the last couple of years, this year I felt like it was a little more even going into the game, based on points per game, points against, and stuff like that. Uh, Not to brag a little bit, but that key stats and our key predictions for the game. I was pretty spot on those. I said I needed to make
You,
sure that we kept Purdue out of the paint a little bit, reduce the foul trouble. And it was kind of funny because they started off the game and they said the exact same thing that I had on the preview show, which made me feel a little good, a little pat on the back there. And then my key player, Nick Thorne, boy, did he show up. Nick Thorne, let's see what he had.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard them say that of keep Purdue out of the paint, I was like, oh, Kedrick said that. And after Nick Dorn's second three, I was like, "You got to be joking me. He's 2 for 2 right now. Are we? Are we for real?"
Let's just
But
say I know my Hoosiers and I know what what we need to do. So, DeVries, if you're watching this, put me on that coaching staff. All right. So we had Nick Dorn. Nick Dorn had 18. So he was our second leading scorer behind Wilkerson. Wilkerson had 19 on the night. Scared me there for a little bit when Wilkerson went down with that hard injury or foul. I thought he broke his arm. I thought he was done for. I thought the Hoosiers were
yeah,
about to
first
just fall apart.
first of all, yeah, Bennett was a little late getting over there for the block. I didn't think it was dirty. I thought he was. I
Oh,
thought
it
it was
wasn't
a
it wasn't dirty.
yeah.
It was
I
just
thought it. I thought it was a normal attempt to get a charge call, but he made that contact and then he stayed in the air for another 3 seconds. And when he landed, I saw his wrist go like this, and I was like, "Oh, that's snapped." But yeah, when he got up, I was like, "Wow." I mean,
Oh yeah.
I thought something had to have broke. He hit it hard.
Well, those were actually, believe it or not, those were our only two double digit scores on the night, 18 and 19 from Wilkerson and Dorn there. We were able to see DeVries had a quiet nine. Like he had a really quiet nine. DeVries had three huge three pointers, one that we missed because of the broadcasting, but the other two, he came clutch whenever we needed him to hit a shot. He was there to hit the shot. And I think more importantly than his shooting, we don't always need him to shoot, and this game proved it. He was able to get 10 rebounds against that Purdue.
Rebounds.
Yeah, that was insane against the three bigs for Purdue having 10 rebounds and being extremely outsized. That just shows some grit there. Um, Especially
I
with
don't have it.
Alexis. Sorry, what?
I don't have it right in front of me. I know that DeVries almost. I mean, he is very close to out rebounding all three of our bigs. I think. I know Trey Kaufman had three. Um,
Yep.
at one point, I know
14
there
to
was
14 to 10. Your
yeah,
three
and
versus the one.
I like not to pat myself on the back, but I put that in our scouting report as we got to rebound the ball, we got to out rebound it. We go into that game. You guys aren't known for your rebounding. Your leading rebounder was five. We got two. One's 8.6. The other was like I don't know. I think Clough was seven or something like that. And we can't even. We barely out rebound one player for you. The whole game. I thought our defensive coverage started out a lot better looking. At least the scheme behind it felt a lot better compared to the Illinois game, but we still had no rebounders in sight. I, the start of the game looked fine, but as time played on, it's like the one that felt like was going and chasing after rebounds the most is our 5'10" point guard. And you can't do that.
Yeah. To give Purdue a little bit of credit there, you guys did out rebound us 33 to 28. But
I did
whenever you
see
got
that.
DeVries getting 10 rebounds, that's huge. I think another thing to point out, Reed Bailey. He showed up and he played 26 minutes off the bench there. And that's something that IU they're still kind of figuring out a little bit is Reed Bailey or Sam Alexis. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, it kind of depends on the game. So Reed Bailey started off the season. He was our starter and he played majority of the minutes. Then Alexis had a really good game. They started playing him a little bit more minutes and they flipped. And then Reed Bailey came off the bench. So Reed's been coming off the bench, but he I would say he's more fundamentally sound and he's better making IQ decisions with the basketball. And he's a really intelligent player. But Sam Lexus, like we mentioned a little bit in that preview show, he's more of the bruiser. He's more in there to bang people around a little bit and to just kind of get a little
Yeah.
bit more rebounds. But he only played a total of 14 minutes and only grabbing one rebound in those 14 minutes. So that's some kudos there to Purdue. I did mention rebounding has come from everywhere for the Hoosiers, and Lamar Wilkerson had 7 boards. That's something
Really.
that doesn't show up very often for him on the stat sheet in particular. Connor Enright, 8 assists. We mentioned that we're going to have a couple guys step up with the ball handling roles. I wasn't sure if Conroy was going to play, kind of a game time decision as we saw. He was dressed and ready to go, but never entered the game. That was kind of big that Connor Enright was able to stay in there. He played actually the entire game, never came out a single time. Uh, and that dude, he just goes. I don't ever think
You said
Enright's really
Enright.
tired. Enright, yes. Um, he kind of
Yeah.
scares me though whenever he
He like
shoots.
yeah, yeah. He had 8 points, but to me, it felt like they came every time you needed one.
It
Like,
does. Yep.
and especially that three at the end of the game. First of all, like you said, scares you when he shoots. He's not a high percentage or volume shooter,
Nope.
and again, like I said, going into this game, you've got Dorn, you got DeVries, and obviously you got Wilkerson. Those are your snipers from behind the arc, right? And I said you have to run them off the 3-point line. Don't let them get open shots. at the end of the game, when you're coming back, right? It's a 5 point game, whatever. You're coming back from losing. It doesn't matter if it's Wilkerson, if it's DeVries. It doesn't matter. You can't give a single person an open shot when you are 3 minutes left trying to come back from it. And we just that three at the end, the end right hit, wide open. We just left him wide alone. I don't care. I don't care if it's a 20% career 3 point shooter. If he is wide open and I am only down 5 points, I'm down 5 points in a game that I've trailed the whole game, and you have had majority of the momentum, and I've only got 2-3 minutes left to win the game, you give zero open shots, and there was not a player in sight next to him. And I mean, he hit it. He's open.
He does scare me every once in a while whenever he does decide he wants to shoot. That was evident whenever we saw his one shot toward the end of the game that slammed off the backboard. Made me feel better. I don't remember which Purdue player did it, but another Purdue player did it, and it was like back-to-back possessions. But I was like, well, Enright tried to show him up there and try to show him he could have worse of a shot, but uh, it's in the past. Another one that I wanted to point out a little bit, Josiah Miles has been playing. He's been actually taking over Trent Sicily's spot a little bit. Sicily has had a more reduced role here recently, and Miles is kind of producing a little bit more, being asked to produce a little bit more. But in the 3 minutes, it's kind of surprising. Sicily only played 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, that those two free
Yeah,
throws that we had there at the end of the game, those were clutch. Um, you can't ask much
yeah,
more from a bench guy. If you're going to come in, you got to do something. And if you're only playing 3 minutes, just to be able to make that impact on that possession alone, that was pretty crucial in a time like that. So I think I mentioned all the guys who played for IU. We only played eight guys on the night, which I mean, like I mentioned, Enright played the entire game. Wilkerson played 36 of the minutes. DeVries 34, Dorn 32. Um, but they all stepped up and they all showed out. Nick Dorn was my key player for the game, and he didn't disappoint. I don't I don't know what DeVries is gonna do. I'm kind of glad I'm not him and in his shoes. When Connerway comes back, I don't know what the Hoosiers are gonna do. You can't take a Nick Dorn and you can't take him out of the lineup for the spark that he's added for this Indiana Hoosier team over
yeah.
the last couple games. You can't sub that on the bench, but at the same time, Connerway, he's one of our double digit scorers, like on average. So that's definitely going to be a decision that he's going to have to make. But at the moment, I feel the Hoosiers are rolling a little bit, so there's no need for Connor Wade to rush his injury. Definitely take some time there, make sure that
Right.
you're good to go for the rest of the season. The Hoosiers have a couple big games still coming up. Our next one's here on Saturday at UCLA, which Purdue just played. Should be a close one if the Hoosiers can keep up the momentum that we have going, especially going into UCLA. I believe they have not lost at home yet this year. So that's against all the
They have
teams in
not.
the Big. Yeah, so it's should be a pretty good game. Looking forward to it. Hopefully the Hoosiers can carry over a little momentum to that game. But that's what I have right now on the Hoosiers coming up. That's our next game, and then that's how I looked at the game from Hoosiers fan perspective, and it was not the. I'll pass this on to you here in just a second, but it was a great day today. Also, I mean, beat Purdue last night, and then coming into today, IU just got a four-star or not transfer recruit to commit, top 35 player in the country, just committed today, and he's for the class of 2027, but he's actually going to reclassify, so he's coming into the 2026 class. So that puts us now at 3 4 stars on the year. We'll have 1 4 star in 2027 draft class, and then we are top five for a 6'10" Serbian dude who's the number 9 player in the country coming in. So if the Hoosiers can get that, that'd be huge because I'm tired of being outsized by Purdue every year. Purdue, I feel like Painter only recruits guys if they're 7 foot. If you're not 7 foot, you're not making the Purdue
Right.
roster. It's about
And
how it seems as an IU fan. But
not
another,
not
sorry, go ahead.
not sorry, not to rub it in. We have another 7 footer coming in.
I'm
We
well
can
aware.
we already have Jacobson, but I believe he's Chinese, like Xian Wan or something. I probably that
Yeah,
was
you
probably
probably shouldn't
complete.
try
Yeah,
to say his name.
yeah. I probably shouldn't try to say it, but yeah,
The
I'm
last thing I had
interested
to
to see
point
what
out
that
real
is.
fast about the Purdue IU, it was just something I found kind of interesting is uh Purdue, they have to win at Mackey. If they don't win at Mackey, arguably the best Purdue class to ever go through with Trey Kaufman, Braden Smith, and Fletcher Loyer, they'll go down with a losing record against the Hoosiers all time. They'd go to 3-5. So this next game at Mackey would put them at 4-4, 500 for their career. Which honestly kind of caught me by surprise whenever I saw that. I wasn't really expecting that necessarily. And then I sent you something earlier that I have pulled up right here, and it's Braden Smith, his career stats at Assembly Hall, averaging just under 8 points per game, 11 of 44 from the from field goal like percentage or whatever, 3 of 18 from three, and he's 1-3 in his career. So not a very ideal stat line there from arguably, in my opinion, Purdue's best point guard of all time, and Braden Smith there at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, you sent me that, and it made me want to rip my hair out even more. Um, you know, I first of all, I went through it during the game. Like you could hear me all throughout the house. I was screaming my head off. Um, and there's some games where you can go like, and this isn't just from me. You can do it too with your Hoosiers. There's some games you're like, ref, what are we calling? Like that, there's no way you're calling that. I had maybe a moment or two during this game, and the rest of it was like, I don't know what I'm even watching. My Purdue team is looking like a third grade girls team, handing you guys the ball. And then when it comes to defense, it's like we're in the outfield picking dandelions. Here you go. Why don't you score the ball this time, Nick Dorn? Why don't you get a wide open three again? I the whole game. You know, the start of the game, besides the 4 minutes that we didn't get to watch, the start of the game is a pretty close game. I mean, nothing crazy going on. The game started 4 for 5 from three combined for both teams. You know, like it was going to be a good game. And then I wrote it down here at 3:30 left. Dorn hits a three. Then we turn it over. I'm pretty sure it's a Braden Smith turnover even. Clough, the next possession when you guys have the ball, gets a foul. The next possession, we turn it over again. The next possession, you guys scored. And then I believe it was like, so that was at 13:30. Get down to like 9 minutes. And we've turned it over, I think, 4 times in maybe 6 or 7 possessions. And after that, it was done. Like we, at the beginning of the game, I was like, okay, it didn't look that bad. We started off. Trey got a bucket. Clough got a bucket. Braden hit a three, and I was like, okay, I mean, slow game. Both scoring back and forth. It's not that bad. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we had those turnovers, and then I felt like we just looked like panicked. Like, credit to you guys. I'm not taking anything away from you guys. Should we have lost this game? Absolutely not. But you guys, I mean, you guys played hard, good defense. But the turnovers we had, I didn't even feel like were turnovers necessarily completely forced by you guys. Yes, you had pressure. I thought they were stupid passes, like just not paying attention, throwing the ball out of bounds. And I mean, Indiana had a few of those possessions too. There was, in my opinion, this was not a good game to watch. Like you,
If
like
If I may add, I feel like Purdue only losing by 5 on the scoreboard at the end of the game. That I don't think that dictated the entire
it,
game. I feel like the Hoosiers,
absolutely not.
honestly, I feel like we were up by double digits majority of that game until there at the end. Purdue made that little run, and the beginning of the game was kind of close. But for majority of that game, the Hoosiers had double digit lead there, and they were just flirting with that 12 to 14 range for quite some time. And another thing I found interesting, I just saw. If you go and you take the best or your shooters, I guess, and as you would say, you had Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer combined 4 of 14 on threes. But then if you look at the Hoosiers, DeVries and Wilkerson, they were 5 of 16. So you had to go somewhere else for some scoring on the outside and on the perimeter there. And I feel like that's why Nick Dorn stood out so much compared to some of the other guys in this game because I mean, when you got Nick Dorn coming in and hitting four threes, whenever you got DeVries and Wilkerson only hitting a total of five, and you got Dorn hitting one less than that,
Yeah.
Purdue didn't have anyone that was able to produce like that. So I feel like that was kind of the difference maker there, shooting wise.
And yeah, I think I was very impressed by Dorn. I thought he played, obviously, what'd you say, 18 points. I thought he had an amazing game. There's only a few times where I was like, you gotta be smarter than that. And just as a basketball player, I think it was 2 out of 3 possessions in a row where he just runs through TKR. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, I understand because in a rival game, you got to set the tone. Hey, I'm coming to play. Be
Yep.
that dog moment, like Kobe Bryant ran through Pau Gasol's chest, right?
I will say that
I,
one was beautiful because it took away the Fletcher Lawyer three-pointer. That could have caused a little bit of momentum change there. So I was kind of glad he did it, honestly.
Even more so, I was upset with that part because I needed him to get that to get going. He had already hit one, but I needed him to see that second one going, and I believe he did hit two. Um,
Yeah, I think it was like two of
I,
six or
I think he
something
was
like
two for
that.
six, but I, I, yeah. Today I wrote down his stats, and by no means, I said last time, I said this is a game where he's gonna get going. He's gonna get out of this slump. Uh, no, it didn't happen. Um, so in our last 10 games, so we're gonna this 10 games ago, he played Auburn, right? He had 8 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds, 0 for 7 for 3 pointers. He's 2 for 10 field goal. Kent State had a good game, 19 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 3 for 10. Right? Okay, I'm gonna skip down these important games. USC 7 points, 0 for 3 behind the arc. UCLA 5 points, 1 for 6. Illinois 1 for 3. IU 2 for 6. He's in a generational downflow shooting from behind the arc. Last year and the year before, his junior and his sophomore season, 44% behind the arc. He is currently shooting 26% in the last 10 games. He's shooting, he averages 10 shots per game, 6 of them typically behind the arc, and he's making 30% of all shots. But he's playing nearly 30 minutes a game. That cannot happen. Like, I again, I am not giving up on this team. I'm being a loyal fan. I 100% think we're going to bounce back and we can still compete highest level. I truly believe that. I'm not giving up on this team. There's so much talent, and I say that because before this 5 game stretch, top of Ken Palm ratings, defense was still worse compared to our offense, but it wasn't bad. It was good enough to win games and go win games by 20. Obviously, offense was, carrying the load, but we are still getting things done. It's just disappeared. This 5 game stretch has nothing compared to what this team was before that. And I don't understand what happens. I don't understand what's flipped on the coaching staff, the game plan. I think, this game compared to Illinois, we would send 2 bigs. They would switch everything, right? At the top of the key. I didn't think they needed switched. They were not forced switch. It was just switching to switch. I thought this game was a lot better, especially at the beginning of the game. We forced Wilkerson to turn it over at time. DeVries to get a not great, pull up off the screen three. We forced some difficult shots. Rebounds, they fell our way, but it had nothing to do with us blocking out or anything. It just landed in our hands. And then we're playing drop coverage, so we're attacking the 3 point line. But when there's a screen or something, our big was dropping back instead of being so high and then having to run back. Just dropping back, make you come downhill play. I liked it a lot better. And then it just felt like I don't even necessarily know that they went away from it, but off ball, we'll say I don't know. I don't even know. Let's say Jakari Harris is guarding Wilkerson in the corner. They screen up top. Wilkerson comes around, and then he goes opposite corner. Nothing that you can't get through. Nothing that's like a difficult possession. Just one that randomly would just get caught daydreaming, and then Wilkerson ends up with a wide open shot attempt. And yeah, you said like what 5 for 16 or something like that.
Between DeVries and Wilkerson. Yep.
But it doesn't matter. You cannot let the two best shooters on your team get a shot like that. And then it led to Nick Dorn getting wide open shots as well because, okay, now we are guarding, but we're focusing too much of double teaming up top on Wilkerson or DeVries. Then they kick it a few times. Nick Dorn is on the wing. And I mean, he hit a tough step back. He hit a few tough shots, but he also got like two wide open threes. And for shooters at that caliber, it cannot happen. And for this team to do anything, like I said before, defense has to change. And I, I said I was hoping that this game was the one that we need that momentum boost. Who better to do it than against the Hoosiers? And we just went even farther down because offense was kicking before this, and it was defense that sucked. Both of them sucked. There was nothing good that I thought came from this game besides we saw Trey score again. And even then, when you shoot 54% from the three-point line or 3-point line, free throw line as a team, you're not going to win a game. You can't, especially if you're gonna play that crappy of defense. When you get foul calls like that and you shoot, 54%, it doesn't matter. You can't win a game like that. And I'm just I'm distraught by what I had to watch. I don't understand what our defensive game plan has been the last 4 games. It has been completely different from the beginning of the season. And then, arguably the best point guard in college basketball, I think this last, 5-game stretch, when it comes to clutch time, he's turned the ball over. And I think people don't think about it as much because it's not like it's happening a lot during the game. But when I need my man the most, I mean, he just rolled it out of bounds. He did it against UCLA, and then it led to them scoring the next possession, and then did it again when we were within 5, and then it just completely shifts the momentum, and it just can't happen. And I'm just, yeah, I'm so frustrated with what I've watched. I think it's going to turn around. I do. I think it's going to get better, and I still think we have a chance in March. And I would much rather see them take a crap right now than I would closer to March. But I can honestly say, I own up to it. I was completely wrong going in our preview. I mean,
I'd like to say
I
I was pretty accurate on a lot of it.
yeah. Thanks for bragging.
Yeah.
Um, I think if they would have done what I, suggested, don't turn the ball over, rebound the ball, we win the game. But it felt we got, to say the least, we got punked, right? You guys, the whole game, I felt, minus that first stretch of the game where it was pretty equal. Once that, marker hit, we had a few turnovers. We got punked. I thought you guys just completely played harder than us. I didn't think there was a single person on the Purdue roster that treated this like game that it's supposed to be. Of this is our rivalry. We have to win this game. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that happens. I didn't see that. This again, I keep saying the 5-game stretch. This 5-game stretch, I have felt the heart be ripped out of my chest. This team has completely, I have felt, lost their fire. I don't feel like anybody is playing super hard. It doesn't feel like they are giving it their all at times, and it's heartbreaking because that when we were on that roll right after the Iowa State game, we lost you know, miserably, right? We went on a tear for a little bit, and you would see, Fletcher Lawyer hits a big three, puts us up by 15 or something, pumping the crowd up, getting it into it. Brain Smith's diving on the floor. He had a few of those last night. He's had that in this stretch, but I don't feel like that is happening now. Obviously, Fletcher's not making shots, but it just does not feel like there's that kind of emotion from this team whatsoever. And for this to be flipped around at all, just that has to change. I'm not even saying Fletch, you have to have 30 the next game or anything, but play with some heart. Like it doesn't look like they have enough care right now. And I miss, the previous years when we had Mason Gillis, guys like that defense meant something and we're on the floor every possession and I'm gonna lock you up and I'm gonna get back on the other side and I'm gonna make the right play. It's not happening. Like it, and then something, some bad play happens, and my point guard, who I love dearly, is throwing his hands up. Like, no, you threw it out of bounds. It's not his fault that he can't jump like that and catch the ball. You threw it at the front of the rim towards Daniel Jacobson, hit the rim. What is he supposed to do? Like, stop complaining, stop throwing your hands up and play basketball. We can't do anything when two out of the three players are just like, oh, what are we doing? No, just freaking play. But yeah, I knew I was gonna come on here and I was just gonna get frustrated. Watching the game, I was screaming the whole time. I wanted to cry myself to sleep. I felt so upset throughout the whole day today. I'm going through what am I gonna talk about during the video, and the more I thought about it, the more upset I got. And I'm at work and I'm just visibly getting like, oh my gosh, that really happened. Like, are we serious? And again, a lot of credit to the Hoosiers. They came out, they played 10 times harder than us. I mean, towards the end of the game, I thought, yeah, you guys won on the scoreboard. Towards the end of the game, I thought we were playing better, but it didn't matter. We didn't show up to play until there was 6 minutes left in the game, and we're down. It. We once we went to that 2-man game, Braden Smith, we kept giving it to TKR, scored or got a foul call. I don't understand why that's not the game plan the whole time until somebody stops it. I It didn't feel like we tried anything that worked until 6 minutes left in the game. And that's when it felt like, oh, we're playing hard. Why didn't that happen from the tip?
I
Like,
I will I will mention something that I found noteworthy in this game was free throws. I know you mentioned something about Purdue and their bigs and their free throw shooting recently or whatever this year. But between Kaufman, Wren, and Clough, they had 5 of 11 from the free throw line. They left 6 points out there between the two of them. I mean, Kaufman, Wren had 10 out of the 11. So, I mean, technically, we're just talking about Kaufman, Wren here. Uh, but still,
yeah,
5 of 10 free throws is not ideal whenever you have Indiana. We're actually the second best free throw shooting team in the Big Ten. And we went 14 of 19 on the night, which is kind of surprising that three of those five misses the Hoosiers had came from DeVries and Wilkerson, our two best free throw shooters. So it's kind of a weird game when it comes to that aspect, but that's something that if the Boilermakers are trying to get to the line, they need to capitalize if that's part of their game plan. As a IU fan, Purdue fans probably aren't going to like this, a lot of the people watching, but something that drives me absolutely nuts watching the Boilermakers is the fact that I feel when Edie was there and now that Kaufman Wren is there, they have like some magic whistle. I don't know what it is when Reed Bailey, if you go back and watch it, if you don't believe me, go back and watch it. It was about 7 minutes left or something like that. Reed Bailey is just guarding Kaufman Wren. His arms are out. Just he's trying to stand up to him because I mean Kaufman Wren has him outsized by a lot. And he literally pinches down with his shoulder and he just like grabs Reed Bailey and like does a hook and hold. And I don't know how Kaufman Wren gets away with that every single game, but the hook and hold, and he gets the foul call. If you're gonna do that, at least make your free throws. Like that's something that drives me nuts is the fact that he can get away with that, but he can't make the free throw. Like, dude, you did all that work and you got the foul call like you wanted. Make your free throw. And I feel like that could be part of Purdue's problem in some of these closer games. You look how many close games, like the UCLA game came down to the wire. You look at some of these games that Purdue has had a shot and they maybe won by a couple points or lost by a couple points. It does. And I mean, we've heard this our whole life. It comes down to free throws. You got to make your free throws. They matter. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
something that Painter needs to work on hard with Kaufman Wren. Yeah, he's not necessarily a shooter by any means, but if you're a big and you're getting to the foul line 10 times against your rival school, you got to hit more than five. That's unacceptable. And I just found that I mean, just figured I'd point that out. And the fact that Kaufman Red got away with a couple little cheap shots. So we should have got one technical in that game. It's a rivalry game. There's no technicals called, and you're laying out guys. Like,
Yeah,
come
that's
on
fair.
now. Um,
I did think at some point in the game there was a stretch where you guys had somebody hit the floor. I think
oh
Trey
yeah,
hit the floor. Lawyer got like bodied, and then he's just laying on the ground. There was a good 5 minute stretch that I was very flustered with the refs, and it wasn't why aren't we getting this call? They shouldn't get that call. It was just like you have to blow the whistle. This is very sloppy. People are getting thrown on the floor. Bodies are just being bumped. Like I was like, and it wasn't Purdue needs that call or there's no way IU gets that call. It's just blow the whistle. I love the let's let them play, but there
for
was a
sure.
stretch that I was just like, this is so sloppy. It's not even a
That's
good watch.
that's what I was about to mention that. It's it's hard to be a ref, that's for sure, because you have games where people are going to be like, "Why are you blowing the whistle so much? Let them play." And then you got other games where you're like, "Okay, what are you doing?" But honestly, I would actually say that I'm glad they didn't blow the whistle as much as they could have, because if you look at it, a lot of those star players would be in foul trouble, and neither team has a lot of depth right now. IU with the injuries,
Yeah.
and Purdue just does not have a lot of depth, in my opinion. I feel like your starters are really good, and that's where you guys thrive a little bit. So if you take a lot of those starters out because of foul trouble, that's a whole new ball game. You don't know which way that's going to go. So the fact that they were able to do some of the foul calls that they did, but not call all of them, I would say honestly, it was probably better for the rivalry game because you got to let them play. In a rivalry game, you don't want every little ticky tack foul called. Um, and that
Right.
leads me the only other negative I have to say about Purdue leads me to my next point. Fletcher Lawyer. I know that he's been struggling for you guys, but can that man not fall every time he shoots a three? Like the fact that he falls and tries to get every foul call drives me absolutely nuts. And you know this about me, least favorite Purdue player of all time. Cannot stand Fletcher Lawyer. But I don't know what the mop people were doing, but when he tripped when he was driving to the basket, and I don't know if he tripped or he trying to flop or I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
That
I
made
don't
my
know what
night.
happened there.
The fact that IU won besides that, that Fletcher Lawyer trip, whatever it was, chuck it up. I don't even know what that made my night. And the fact that they put him on the bench because he can't play defense, just that as an IU fan, that's something noteworthy. If you're watching tape, Painter needs to be able to figure out why can Fletcher Lawyer. I mean, yes, he's in a shooting slump and he's a good shooter. I'll give him that. He's a really good shooter. But the fact that he can't play defense, like you have Nick Thorne, who's just coming into the lineup. He's technically a bench guy because Connor Wade is the starter, and you're having Nick Thorne just one step gets by him every time, time after time. He's if you go back and watch for a good chunk of that period, whenever Fletcher Lawyer was in there, he was the one giving up baskets or giving up an assist because he's just I don't know, he just struggles on the defensive end. I find that's something that he should work on a little bit. I mean, it's hard to teach defense, but you got to be able to know he cannot guard some of the guys. You got to put him on someone a little bit slower.
Even more so in this stretch of games when you are a you're out there. And again, I think I said in the first video, I'm a big shooters guy. Me personally, I know you love playing defense. I love shooting the ball. I love watching shooters shoot. It's fun. In my opinion, it's more fun to go watch a guard go out there and hit threes than it is to go, I loved Edie, but it's so much more exciting to see those plays compared to back to the basket, just
You can join
lob.
the Cream and Crimson if
Yeah,
you want. I heard we shoot a lot.
get out of here. But with Fletcher right now, we know that he can't play defense, and we know that he's out there to shoot. And I still stand on it. I think that Matt Painter is a great coach. In this 5-game stretch, I have questioned everything that's going on. It feels like there's zero defensive adjustments happening. Fletcher is still playing 20. I mean, I think he got benched in the USC game. I think he ended up like 18 total minutes, which came down to the wire, but I still thought, and the way he's been playing, that was the right call. And which leads me to another point that I'm going to make here in a second. But you can't allow somebody that is currently shooting 26% behind the arc and taking 10 shots on your offense to play 30 minutes and do absolutely nothing else good on the court. You're shooting 26% and you're giving up a basket every time on defense. And then you're not even providing you're providing 2.5 rebounds. And I honestly, that's higher than I thought it would have been. And every rebound that he gets, it's because he was standing in the right spot and it bounced into him. It's not I'm chasing this down, get it. And the assist, it's that guy was wide open. I have to give it to him. Like you said, when he fell, I was just like, yeah, that would happen to Fletch right now, just the way that he's been playing. But even more so, like, I am a shooters are gonna shoot and get out of the slump. That's how it works. But I want open threes, not I'm driving to the basket under control. Because when he starts driving, it's gonna be a really good lay it up to the side, get it open out in front of the defense,
Or he's
or
hitting the
it's
deck.
yeah, or it's and it drives me insane. And I'm a big, going into the season after this 5-game stretch, I don't know anymore. I'm a big, I was a big Fletch fan. Yeah, right now.
I
And go ahead.
I wish a stat that college basketball would display maybe in the box score a little bit. Um, it's something honestly that could be the most important stat in all of basketball, plus minus. If it showed plus minus stats, it that dictates so much. Like some people don't get enough credit for when they're on the court or what they're doing. But I feel like if you could go back, and I know there's ways to calculate that. I'm too lazy to go and calculate all that right now. But
Same.
if you could
Yeah.
go and you can look at plus minus over maybe not just this one game, but the last couple games, that'll show you all you need to know. Who needs to be on the court? And I know they mentioned it during the game. I think his name's Benter or something like that. Benner.
That was going to be
Yeah,
my next point.
they were
Yeah.
saying how his plus minus, you guys were winning whenever he was in the game. Like that's something that as a coach, yes, they pointed that out during the game and that Painter was looking into that. But when you're in a rivalry game, I don't care that Fletcher Lawyer is one of your big three. You got to play the guys that are going to make the plays. Like
Yep.
it doesn't matter. I mean, look at what DeVries did, and bragging on DeVries a little bit. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's done a really good job with this Indiana roster, uh, considering he didn't have anyone on the team. He had Trent
Yep.
Sisley coming in, and he had to find everyone else in the portal. He took his son with him, yes, but other than that, he developed this team based on the needs that they needed, and I find that to be incredibly impressive, considering you had no players. But Sam Alexis, like I mentioned, he barely played. And that's something DeVries was able to notice that if he's not able to be able to hang in there with some of the bigs, but for some reason, Reed Bailey, who weighs nowhere near the same weight as Sam Alexis, but he's able to
Yeah.
hang in there, and DeVries is able to he's able to have his own down there. So like, I mean, that's some adjustment that you need to make, especially at halftime, maybe, That's something he could have seen very easily, but yet Fletcher Lawyer stayed out there on the court for a while. But if you go back and look, when Purdue made their run there at the end, Fletcher Lawyer was on the bench there until about the final minute and a half when you guys needed desperation threes. So that's something that I think that Purdue could maybe look at and use that because that Benner guy, I mean, I had never really even heard of him before this game. But he gives it his all. That's the people I like. I like seeing people who hustle and who are out there giving it 100%, especially in a rivalry game. You don't need to be out there just turning it over and doing this and that and not having any punishment. So that's something that
Yep.
maybe Painter should look at, and I think that could solve some of Purdue's struggles that they've had. And I wouldn't necessarily call them struggles, in my opinion. You lost a rivalry game to Indiana at Indiana. You lost to UCLA, who's undefeated at home, and you only lost to them by what, three or four? And then you
Yep.
play Illinois, where they have a freshman score 46. So, I mean, despite how much I can't stand Purdue, I really don't think you guys are in desperation mode by any means. Yes, you're in a 3 game skid. That's going to happen. It happens to the best of every team. But if you go back and look, there's, yes, a couple key plays that could have made a difference in every single game, but you lost a rivalry game. You lost on basically a buzzer beater by UCLA to take the lead there at the end, and they're undefeated at home. And then the 46 points, like, I mean, if I'm a Purdue fan, which I'm not and I never will be, but as a Purdue fan, I think that's something that they can definitely ride on as a little bit of a high from the game and take that as a positive that only a couple plays could have dictated the entire outcome of the game whenever you look at the win and loss.
Yeah, and I saw some like some tweets and stuff like that. A few that I thought were astronomical, like saying uh, fire Painter, stuff like that. First of all, if the history of what Painter has done has been there means nothing else to you after a 3 game losing streak is enough for you to say fire him, you're an idiot, a true fan. Like right now, if I was basing off the 3 games, yeah, I'm questioning what's going on here. But being a fan and knowing what he has done in his time, there's just people they say I'm a trust paint, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm a trust paint. Right now, I don't see what he sees. I don't understand the vision. I don't understand the switches, the defensive game plan. I don't know what's going through his head. Whether it's him making the call, Coach Lusk, I don't know who it is that's making that call. I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna say I'm gonna trust Paint. He's gonna figure it out. But yes, the point I was gonna bring that up as well. What you said of plus minus makes a big difference, and you brought up Jack Benner, and I was talking to Dylan the other day, and something I said to him, Fletch is in a terrible shooting stretch right now. Like absolutely terrible. But again, he's 40 some percent career shooter, right? So we know that it's he can get out of it eventually. It's gonna get better. But right now it's not. And you look at Benner and the opportunities that he has given where he's playing high minute games. I mean, I know it's earlier on in the season, actually, the first 2 games. Oakland, he played 29 minutes. He had 11 points. He was 3 for 7 behind the arc, 4 for 9 from the field, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Okay. Rebounds already 10 times better than what Lawyers is at it. And against Evansville, 11 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 for 6 behind the arc, 4 for 7 behind, the field. When he gets to play, he makes the right play, and he doesn't demand the ball. When he goes out there, he plays like he's trying to keep himself on the court. He goes out, stays in front of somebody, chases after rebounds. Like I said, I talked to Dylan about it. I don't think you bench Lawyer completely. I don't even want to say you take him out of the starting lineup. You kind of take it as let's see how he's playing, but then you have to give Benter minutes. And while he's in this slump, let Fletcher sit, let him find his shot again, and let him get back out onto this role. But do not limit Benter in this time because with Fletch shooting bad, he doesn't provide anything else. And when Benner's in the game, he goes in and gets rebounds. Against USC, he had a clutch rebound, a clutch steal. He had a good assist to TKR, and then he hit a three in big time moment. It's yeah, I don't understand what we're viewing right now because he right now he's shooting 47% behind the arc. He's our best shooter right now. Braden Smith has shot pretty well right now as well, but I know he comes in for Trey and he plays that four spot, but he's capable. I mean, he can play 1 through 4 in my opinion. Maybe you don't want him playing point all that much, but he can shoot. He's athletic. I don't think he gives up that much on defense. At least holds his own. He's not a cone. At least like he's not a Fletcher Lawyer where you know he's going to get burnt. He can't stay in front of somebody. And like Fletcher Lawyer, he draws charges. He's not afraid to get down and put himself on the ground. So I don't see any way that playing Benter more hurts you. In a sense, I think it makes Lawyer have to get out of this slump to get back on the court. And at the end of the game, if it's a close game, whatever, you probably still want to go with Fletch. I mean, he has moments to hit very big shots. You probably still want him in the game. So by no means are you taking all his minutes away or are you benching him completely. But you have to get Benner back in the game when he's had 15 plus minutes or at least 15 minutes, because there's games where he has 7 minutes, stuff like that. When he gets those opportunities, he's making plays. And it doesn't even have to be anything flashy. It doesn't have to be anything like that, but he's just making the right read. He's not, demanding a shot. He takes what's given to him, and it makes us better as a team because, like I said, if Fletcher's not hitting shots, he's not doing anything else for us. And Benner shoots like 3 shots a game. If he goes 1 for 3, whatever, because he probably got 4 or 5 rebounds. And in that stretch that we had where we were making that push, clutch rebound, got it off the left glass or left side of the glass, kicked it back out. Like that's something you need, and that's not something Fletcher's going to provide. And right now, with his shooting slump, you can't afford to keep playing that, especially when the rest of the team right now, defensively, is going down. I going off of this game, I don't know what else there is for me to say besides to just rant about it. To sit and try to take something good out of it. The only thing I can say is it's not March. Like that's my biggest takeaway of anything good of this game is it's not March yet. So we have time to figure it out. And like you said, teams are, regardless of who you are, you're going to have a stretch of bad basketball. Michigan had it early on in the season, and look at who they are now. But yeah, we got to figure it out because I told Dylan again earlier today, Sunday against Maryland is going to determine who this team is. Like you said, I'm not in desperation mode yet. I'm not off this team. I don't think it's gone. Depending on how we play Maryland is going to determine how I feel about the rest of the season, because after that, we have Maryland, Oregon. Those are about our 2 cakewalks. And after that, we got Nebraska again, Iowa. Bennett Sturts is a killer. You got Michigan. And then we got Ohio State. You got Michigan State. Like, it doesn't get any easier from here. And if we can't prove that we can play against Maryland, who is not a good team this year, they are not good. I told him, which I'm going to make a video on that one as well, but I told him if we don't win by at least 25 points, plus 12 on the rebounding, and under 6 turnovers, I'm not content, and I don't think that we can keep doing it. But based off this past few games, I am, hey, you got to figure it out, and it starts on defense. But going into this game, I was like, all right, defense got to get figured out. Leaving this game, offense got to get figured out too. It was terrible across the board. Towards the end of the game is when it felt like anything we did was like even remotely right. And again, I don't understand why you don't go to that sooner. You know the Braden Smith TKR game works. I mean, that was our whole offense last year, and we didn't go to it at all until we're down with 4 minutes left in the game. And I don't understand that whatsoever. This team's got to learn to make adjustments, got to learn to play with some heart. And if that doesn't happen, that's when I'm going to throw in the towel, and when I'm going to be like, all right, I'm not, I'm not set on this team. And even more so, it sucks because you know I was really excited going into the season. And again, I'm not giving up. By no means am I throwing in the towel yet. This weekend will determine that. But this past stretch of games has been some of the hardest games to watch and has really questioned the character of this team. And I need to see them all come out and show me that they've got some guts and play their hardest stretch of basketball, because it doesn't get any easier from here. And if we can't figure it out going into March, it might be a second second round exit, and which is better than getting beat by 16 seed, but not with the roster we have on this team, and not with the big three that we have and what they've accomplished leading up to this point. But yeah, I knew I was just going to get flustered. There's just so much wrong that I saw in this game, and it even more so since it's Indiana, you know, even more so it hurt. But credit to you guys. You came out and played so much harder than we did, and um, yeah, you guys have some dogs on your team, and I think they're gonna have a good rest of the season if they continue to play like that. But not the outcome I was looking for, and not what. But I don't think not the outcome either one of us expected to happen. But yeah, you guys just outdogged us, and hey, there's not much more to say, but you better lace those shoes up extra tight the next game and come with some fight, because that was very hard to watch. But I don't know if you've got anything more. I'm pretty
Don't
done with
don't
complaining.
don't
But
really got anything else. And on a positive note for the Hoosiers, I feel like we've these last two games have figured out how to play as a team a little bit more than what we were for a stretch of games. We would start off really slow, just let the other team kind of take advantage for a while, and then we try to play catch up, and it wasn't working, obviously. I mean, no one wants to play from behind, but I find that we're finally getting some team chemistry, which it's gonna take a little bit to get, especially with an entire brand new team.
yeah,
But the post game video that I saw from the locker room, the guys look like they're buying in. They look like they trust DeVries, they trust the process. So I'm excited to see where this program can go. And I think Purdue is about to get back on track as well. So I look forward to seeing how both these teams compete in the rest of the season and as we head into March.
yeah, I'm excited for the next matchup between these two. I'm not gonna say I'm excited at this point right now. After this game, we'll see how the next few games go, and then that'll determine. I'm more excited because it is in Mackey. So if nonetheless we at least have home court advantage.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I agree. The few games that I watched earlier on the season on IU, I did feel like, all right, it's kind of a little bit of me ball at times.
Yep.
Um, I know Wilkerson's a run and gun type player, and he's really good. But I definitely felt with DeVries when I watched, there was times where he gets ball's going up, or at least it slows down the possession. But yeah, watching as a basketball fan perspective, I thought he did a better job of not chucking everything. I thought most of his looks looked like good shots that I would want him to be taking. But yeah,
For sure.
you guys are
Thanks for having me on.
yes, sir. You're what, back to 500 in the
We
conference?
are back to 500. Yep, we are 5-5 now in the conference, 14-7 overall. So uh they're trending in the right direction.
Who's your next few games?
We have UCLA, I know, at UCLA. Should be a little bit of a test there to see if this team can keep it rolling. And then as we go into February, we're on the West Coast, it looks like a little bit. So we got at USC as our next game. And we got two back-to-back home games against Wisconsin and Oregon. So uh, this should be it's not the most difficult stretch that you could have in the Big Ten, but it's definitely uh, a group of teams and teams that are trying to prove themselves toward the middle
Yep.
upper echelons of the conference. So none of these teams by any means are slums or anything like that, but we are all pretty close together there in the middle of the conference. So if we're going to separate ourselves, this is the time to do so. So yeah,
And then even more so that, yeah, West Coast games, you got the time delay. They're never
sure.
easy to play, especially
Nope.
because you're playing both of them, in the same week. So you get adjusted the first game. But yeah, I think, UCLA, Donovan Dent he's a good player.
He's legit.
And uh, he's got a weird last name. I don't know how to say the guy's name, but he's a shooter.
Like
Moral of the
Chada Baker
story,
or
don't
something like that.
that chat Chad Bad was or yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah,
Chad Baker Mazzara for USC, but
that's right.
um the other guy on UCLA,
Oh, I
don't
thought you were
leave
talking about, sorry.
him open. Don't leave him open at the end of the game and let your big switch onto him when he's already made three threes that game.
I
Just a
think DeVries got that
recommendation.
under
Don't
control, but if not, I can always give him a ring.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this stretch of games of hoping, my team turns it around. I'm okay with you guys. I know we're rivals. I'm okay with you guys winning the rest of the games except when we play. You know, kudos
Keep
to
this
you.
rivalry fuming.
Get your yeah, keep your mojo going. Make it a fun game the next time we play. Make it a back and forth game, not whatever that crap show was that we watched last night. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I think for me that's all that I got.
That's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for doing this again. Hopefully we can make another one before we play again, and hopefully it's more interesting for both of our teams as far as the games that lead up to the point. But I think
Yeah.
that's all I got. So
All right. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Go Hoosiers.